rent and stuff. Well, on average, it's 23% more expensive in Australia than in the United States. They kind of have a particular situation there
more
because
higher. Hello and hi everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Alright, today I'm going to do a reaction video by the channel of Vincent Briatore. Okay, I hope that I pronounce it right. Briatore or Briatore. Forgive me if I'm pronounce it wrong. Sorry. And yeah, please do support this channel by subscribing it too, guys. And today we're going to see Vincent will tell us about USA versus Australia, cost of living and income matchup. Alright, I can't wait to see this one. And before we start, as usual, I would like to thank everyone who already support me by subscribing my channel. And for those who are still not yet subscribed, please do so, because I really need it and I'm really gonna appreciate all of you guys. Thank you so much, good people. Alright, without further ado, everyone, let's go and watch this comparison between this USA and also Australia. Let's go. Are you guys ready? Let's get started.
72 cents USD is the equivalent of $1 Australian dollar. So keep that in mind. 72. The average income in the US for one individual is $35,977, right? Okay. In Australia, it's like $51,389. Now, if you translate that from Australian dollars to USD, it ends up being $36,895. That is very close to the average individual income that we have here in the US. So we're going to break that down, look at cost of certain foods, housing, taxes, and different stuff to really compare and to see how it really is. So it's a pretty interesting video. Let's see here. So the minimum wage in Australia is 20 Australian dollars, the equivalent of $14 an hour. So as we know, we have a federal minimum wage here in the US, but some states it's higher, $14, $15 an hour, like in states like Washington. However, in the US, if you travel around, you will see some fast food jobs and places like that are hiring $8, $9 an hour. So that kind of skews the average. It makes you wonder, if we have the same average individual income, how come a lot more people are getting paid less in the US, right? Because a fast food worker in Australia is always going to start at least $14 an hour. I have a theory. If I had to guess, I would say it's the higher numbers skew the averages, right? More people have a higher income maybe here in the US, so more income inequality. But anyway, that's for another video, right? So let's see. Let's look at a gallon of milk, right? A gallon of milk in the US is $3.70 on average. A gallon of milk in Australia in USD is equivalent of $3.50. So very close, a little tiny, a hair bit cheaper in Australia. Dozen eggs in the US is $1.50. Very reasonable price. Now, this is not organic or anything, just the basic. And a dozen eggs in Australia is actually $3.40. So almost, twice as much, a little over twice as much. But it's a dozen eggs, it's probably not going to break the bank, right? Now, here's where things get interesting, right? Because a 12-pack of Budweiser in the US on average is like $10.99. That's glass bottles, 12-pack. Now if you look at other domestic brands, Miller Lite, you're still sticking around $10 to $12 for a 12-pack. It's maybe $13.99, no more than that for domestic beers. In Australia, a 12-pack of a most popular beer in Australia domestic is Carlton Drought, and that's actually the equivalent of $45 USD.
Oh,
like, what?
Expensive.
That's 5 times more. Now I know you might be thinking, well, maybe that's like a premium domestic, but it's not, because the cheapest beer, really one of the cheapest in Australia, would be Beck's, and that still ends up being $29 USD. So kind of, I don't know if I can manage over there. Well, I'm not really a big beer drinker. I used to be, but still, those prices are astronomical. And you're thinking, what about liquor? What about a Don Julio here in the US? It's around $49. In Australia, it's about $70, $80 per bottle. Yeah, that is because we import it from Mexico, maybe it's further. But also other liquors are comparatively expensive. I think it's the taxes that the Australian government levies against alcohol, right? So you're thinking, what about tobacco? You guessed it. Alcohol and tobacco extremely more expensive in Australia.
Oh, I see. The alcohol and tobacco is more expensive things in Australia compared to United States. Wow. I think it must be a reason for that thing happen, yeah?
Cigarettes have been going up. People complaining about cigarettes. Even when I was young and I smoked, I was complaining about cigarettes all the time. You know, they went up from $6-7 all the way up. Now it costs $8-9 for a pack of cigarettes. Some places 10, depending on the state you live in, or New York City probably more than that. But on average, that's where it is, around, let's just say $10 for a pack of cigarettes, right? In Australia, average cigarettes are $20 to $30 USD. So 3 times as expensive. I've read articles, Australia is one of the most expensive places in the world to be a smoker. So
you get to
that's that's very strange. I don't know. It is what it is. I guess they're trying to get people not to drink and smoke. I wonder if it's working.
Yeah, I think it's just the government don't want people not to drink too much and smoke too much. That is why the price is over the limits.
Things like a McDonald's sandwich, actually I found it to be almost identical. McDonald's double quarter pounder with cheese, large meal, about $9 in the US. In Australia it's about $12 something AUD, which translate to, again, around exactly $9 American. So that's a lot of people throw that around, oh, in Australia this, but actually it's the same once you convert it. And people that are working at McDonald's though do get paid more in Australia because of their minimum wage, if nothing else. Now you might be thinking, well, what about taxes, right? And that's a good question. So obviously tax system in the US is fairly complex because states levy their own tax. You're talking anywhere from 6 to 13%, and you have townships, counties sometimes that are charging extra tax. It becomes a real nightmare. But for simplicity, let's just say you live in Texas, Nevada, Wyoming, Tennessee, New Hampshire, one of these that has no state income tax. Think Florida, right? Did I mention Florida? Maybe I didn't. And so you're just going to pay the regular taxes. Now for simplicity, let's go back to that figure that we had, right? Around $39,000 for an average individual income. Now I know what you guys thinking, you can't really live off that, but these are the figures, okay? How much tax are you going to pay on that for one person making 39 grand? Well, in the United States, you get a 15% tax rate. Boom. That's the Medicare, everything. Doesn't include state. So if you're in a state, you're going to get hit with state income tax, but it's pretty low, 15%. In Australia, however, they, on that same income, which if you remember, translates to almost the same, it's 39,000 something in USD, ends up being 32.5% tax rate. I used an Australian tax calculator.
It's very high.
So it's actually twice as much taxes on a relatively low income, right? But you think, well, what do you get with that? It doesn't cover healthcare. So it doesn't cover healthcare in the US. It doesn't cover healthcare in Australia. It's actually been a lot of debate. They do have a somewhat hybrid healthcare system. So you're never going to get denied service or everything, but Australians do pay extra for healthcare, and it does end up being quite expensive in some cases. I've seen some complaints and some news articles about it. So the grass is not always greener on the other side. So pretty interesting, stats. If you're thinking, well, what about rent and stuff? Well, on average, it's 23% more expensive in Australia than in the United States. They kind of have a particular situation there.
More
because
higher.
It's kind of like one big Nevada, right? Because it's very dry and deserty in central Australia, so the majority of people live on the coasts, which instead in the United States, people are kind of spread out everywhere, a little more densely populated on the East Coast than on the West Coast, but nonetheless, we're all over the place.
Well, that's it, the comparison between USA and also versus Australia in cost of living and income matchup. For me, this video has really helped me to understand more about the general cost of living in Australia and compared to United States. And yeah, it's a very big difference between these two countries. And yeah, we do admit that the salary and so on is much higher at Australia, but cost of living in Australia is much higher than the United States. And yeah, especially that when the tax rate also is maybe it's actually depend on the states, and yeah, it's more higher than United States for me. And I was like a bit shocked when I heard that the Australian government, like what he just said just now, that increases the tax for cigarettes and also the alcohol, supposedly I think it for discourage people from drinking and smoking as well, to ensure that you are living in a healthy lifestyle. And healthcare is basically free if you go to maybe to a public hospital, and you know, there's no charge or anything. And I just love, of course there's a very big difference between these of two countries, but there's, like I told you before, there must be something, a reason of the government doing that. Yeah, personally I think I just agreed with what the Australian government did for you know, raise up for the taxes, for the levy for alcohol and also the smoking. It's for me, it's to encourage people to live in a very good lifestyle, and yeah, it's for your own good and for your own health, I think. Yeah, but for me it's a very big difference when you can see Vincent elaborate about these two countries, USA versus Australia. It's a very big difference. But yeah, thank you for this video. It's really helped me to understand more about these two countries and things and what's going on in that country. And yeah, I just love this video. It's a really educational video that can help me to understand more about these two countries. And of course I want to see more about Australia. I hope that next time maybe. And you, if you're Australian, what do you feel about this? What do you think about this video? Do you agree that cost of living in Australia is more higher than United States? And can you adapt that situation, or just plan with your life and enjoy life in Australia? Of course, I just want to know your experience. What do you feel, because you're living in Australia? And yeah, about the topics that Vincent just shared with us, the comparison that you agree with Vincent, just let me know by dropping your comment below. All right, I hope to see all of you again on my next video. Until then, everyone, take care and have a very great day. Goodbye, everyone.